Hello and welcome to Abhijit Archives. This is Abhijit and today I have a very special guest, Manasi Vaidya, who has done 2 researches and she's not even a final year student yet.
I am from GMC Yatman.
Before we go into the research, can you tell me more about yourself?
Okay, so I am a 3rd mbbs student and I have done 2 researches till now.
Tell me more about what is research and I am a medical student and I have not done a single research. I actually tried doing it but unfortunately the damn COVID got me and I couldn't finish it. So tell me what is research and why do we do it and how do we do it and everything about research that you know, because that's why we are here.
Okay, so firstly, my elder sister is a doctor. She had also done a research through the ICMR STS program. Basically, ICMR, it hosts a short-term studentship program for all the undergraduate students to imbibe the knowledge of research into students at a very tender age. So basically, why I did research was actually helped my sister do research. So I somehow felt that even I should be doing it.
Did you start research from first year itself?
No, I actually applied for the STS program in 2nd year. Basically, ICMR hosts a program called a short-term studentship program, and the undergraduate medical students can apply for it. You can apply it right from the first year, but actually in the first year we are not so well versed with the medical knowledge. So I thought, let me just get a little bit into what actually I am. I wanted to know more about what career I am being and what I have in front for me. So I got into it. Then in my 2nd year I applied to the STS and the ICMR project.
What is STS exactly?
STS is short-term studentship. You have to complete your research in 2 months, and basically what it is about, you have to apply to it, then you have to send them a proposal.
Does STS pay well?
Okay, STS pays you a stipend for 2 months, and
how much is it? It's my personal question. How much is it?
It was 10,000 a month for me, but from now, from this batch, this year 2022, STS has increased the stipend to 25,000. So basically, you'll end up getting a hefty amount, 50,000.
So you can do research for 50,000. That's one more motivation for me. What are the requirements for the research?
The basic requirement I'll say is you need a guide. The main person behind your research will be a guide. And this person, I personally feel, should be one who is well versed with research methodology, because it is something very different.
So what exactly is this guide? Is it a teacher or a senior, or am I supposed to find it online or something?
No, you have for the basic requirement in the ICMR STS project is the guide, and the guide should be from your college, and the guide should be, and you need a professor, and the professor should be well versed with the research methodology, because that's what is important. Because there are many courses available online, what actually research methodology is.
You are talking about the research methodology. You are talking about the research methodology. So tell me what the research methodology is.
Okay, so basically, before starting a research, the first thing you need to get a guide. And this guide will be telling you about how actually a research is being done.
Where will I get the guide? There are 19 subjects, and which one to choose for the guide? I have no idea.
So basically, what options I had was I did my research in 2nd year. So I had options from first year subjects, which are 3: anatomy, biochemistry, and physiology, and the 2nd year subjects like pathology, microbiology. So I had these options available. And also we have some lectures of PSM in our community medicine in our 1st and 2nd years. So actually what I knew beforehand was the PSM people, they are well versed with the research methodology. I mean, I'll say they are experts in research. So first of all I chose I have to find a guide from PSM. I myself went to a professor who I knew had beforehand tried for the ICMR project. So I went up to him and asked him if he wanted to be my guide. So basically that's how it all started.
Okay, so you just approach a professor that you think will help you.
Yeah, exactly. Main chunk of research requires the help from your guide, and trust me, you need your guide to be a very well versed person and who knows every little bit about research, and also he's ready to help you for it.
And how will I know who that person is? Will the seniors help me?
Yeah, actually, for this you need help from your seniors. Like I asked my seniors who had beforehand applied for the ICMR project, and there was one sir whom Dr. Domple. I went up to him and I asked him if he wanted to be my guide. So thanks to Dr. Domple.
Okay, so I can do a research in secondary medicine surgery as well. Can I?
Yeah, you can choose any subject from all the 19 subjects we have. But the thing is, like, when we are in first or second years, we are not taken so much seriously by the clinical professors, and also they don't have that much time for us. Also, they won't take you so seriously.
That makes sense. Okay, let's say I have selected a guide. I have selected a subject. What next?
Okay, so basically what my ICMR project was, I did it through the PSM department. I mean, I did it through the community medicine department, but my project was more of into the pediatrics. So basically I had two subjects combined into it.
Okay,
I took help from the community medicine people to know how a research is done. Like, I talked to you about the research methodology. So learning the research methodology was done by the PSM people, and I applied it into the pediatrics. So basically my topic was into pediatrics.
So did you have to know all about pediatrics beforehand, or did you just jump into it because you liked that topic?
No, actually, topic selection is a big thing. So first of all, when I approached my guide, he asked me if I was dead serious to complete it, because research, it takes a hell lot of time, and research consumes a lot of time. I mean, it's a lot of patience, It's a lot of hard work, also it's fun. So I had to give it my all. So I asked him, then there was this big thing like topic selection. So my guide asked me to first of all know what actually research is. So he gave me like 4 or 5 PDFs about how a research is done and what actually are the types of researchers, like what exactly I want myself to get into. Like, obviously I want to learn something, so I should know what I have to get into, right? So I started my journey with reading the epidemiology chapter which had all about the research things.
So
That's how my research journey started.
So K-Park at your rescue again.
Yeah, actually, there was another book. Like, I read 2 or 3 PSM books in my second year to know what research is. But the epidemiology wala part, not the entire book.
Okay, that came out as a shock to me. So tell me, why did you do the research? Like, why should I mean, other than the 50,000 rupees, why should I do the research? Why should I use my brain into reading 3 or 4 books of community medicine? What's the use
Firstly,
of it?
I didn't read much of the book. I just read the part about research topics, okay? So, basically, I'll say that why one should get into research is, it's completely why if you're an inquisitive person, you yourself want to get into it. And secondly, the search for answers.
Okay, does it have any value for the future doctors? Like, will it help me get into a better college?
Okay, so doing researches builds your CV. Like, it helps a lot. Like, when you're getting into USMLE or other exams for going into the foreign countries.
Lab, USMLE, and then there's one for Australia.
Okay, so for these exams, they not only check your academic performances, they also check your extracurricular activities. So it helps you build up your CV a lot. Like, compared to a person, like, suppose I am getting a score XYZ and another person is getting the same score, and so what will be a defining criteria for me being other than him, right? So my CV would help me, exactly.
Okay, and what if I want to do the PG in India itself?
Yeah.
Like, what's the, I mean, let's say I go into PG in India, some XYZ college, so will that research help me there as well? Like, what?
Okay, that's a beautiful question. I would like to answer it. Like, myself, I don't even want to go into USMLE or do anything like that, but still I'm doing research because I like it.
Okay, so either you do the research for liking it, or for publishing the paper, for building the CV, or for the 50,000 rupees, and for international like USMLE, lab, etc. Well,
yeah.
5 are...
Also, it helps you grow up as a person. Like, you get to know new things, and what's harm in knowing new things?
Right. What's harm in reading 4 books on PSM for knowing
I
new
didn't read
things?
4 books.
Okay. I selected a guide. I found a subject of interest.
Yeah.
What about the topic? Like, the guide gives us a topic, or should we?
Okay, so topic selection, it's the main chunk of research, like what exactly your whole research is going to lie upon. So I'll say that your base should be strong, right? So the topic, you should be well versed with it. So how I started selection of topic was like myself first gave me those big books to read know what actually research is and what exactly I need to search upon. Like I don't even need to think about a topic which is already being researched and which already we know a lot about it.
You cannot
right?
repeat a research, is it so?
You can repeat a research, but what impact will it make on the society?
Right, you need to
think about something which people need to know, right? No, not exactly people, like what exactly we all should know, right? Like
for the betterment of the society.
Medical fraternity.
How did you select your topic? Like you selected pediatrics in second year. How?
Yeah. Okay, so there's this thing like Pubmed. Okay. So I first had to. My guide told me like for searching a good topic, I should know what exactly everyone out there is researching. So I should get an idea what actually I have to search for. Okay. So I started it by searching on Pubmed. Like I just used the term cross-sectional study because I personally found myself like I could do it. Like there are other types of researches also, like you can do a case control study, you could do some really fancy things like
randomized control trials, paired t-test, unpaired t-test.
It is not a type of research.
I don't know much. I so hope that community medicine people don't see this.
I'm going to send it to my guide. So then I started searching on Pubmed. Like
Pubmed is a website, right?
Yeah, Pubmed is a website where you can see all the researches being done. And I used really smaller keywords like cross-sectional study. Like there are other types of study as well, case control, randomized control trials, and other many types of it. I found myself comfortable doing a cross-sectional study. So I started searching about what cross-sectional studies are being done in the society. So
on PubMed. So you go search cross-sectional studies on PubMed. It gives you a bunch of research. You select one of them.
Okay. And first of all, I had decided that I wanted to do my you have to select what study population you are comfortable doing it with. So I wanted to do it in a hospital-based setting. So I searched, I used the keyword tertiary care center in a hospital and.
So you feed it into the system, cross-sectional study keywords, and it gives you a topic. You select those topics, and then what?
Then there are like lakhs of topics available there. It's not like they are topics; they are researches which are done by other people. Then from it, I found out what I am having interest in. Then I chalked out some of them, like 20-25 research papers from it, like which I wanted to do myself. And then my guide told me that I have to see if those researches are being done all over. If they are so much in number, then it's worthless for me to do it again, right? It's not going to find anything else. So
we need to do something that is not done or that is rarely done.
Yeah, actually, like some things like which are prevalent in the society, which are there or which are incident in the society, but we don't have much knowledge about it, like right. So that's how I began my journey about topic selection. Like every day I used to take 20-25 topics to my guide, and he used to scratch it all. Like no topic selected for like 10 to 15 days.
And how much time every day did you give on topic selection? Like how much time per day do you give on research?
Okay, that's something vague, I'll say, because it is something like how much well versed you are with it, right? If I'm doing my research for the first time, it consumed a lot of time. Like I used to take 2 to 3 hours every day just to search 25 topics, 20 to 25 topics, and it takes 2 to 3 hours per day of your per day.
And what is your speed right now?
Okay. Well, it's not a race.
I'll say she searches 25 topics in 25 minutes.
No. Okay, so that's how it began. And then my guide used to he used to teach me like why he's scratching out the topic every day. So it was like 25 topics I'm taking to him every day, and it is no, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't do this. I was like, why can't we do this? Then came the main part. Like when I started selecting the topics, that's how I came to know that what I am supposed to take and what I'm not supposed to take.
So the process of topic selection helps you find your journey and your goal
actually.
inside the research. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, in 10-15 days, let's say the guide approved and I selected a topic.
Yeah.
Then what?
Now once we have done with the topic selection, the next thing is to select what select what the study subjects would be. By study subjects I would mean who all will be involved in this research. Like if I'm doing a research, I need a certain group of people who will be my study subjects, right?
Like patients or some other people.
Yeah, if it is I've done 2 researches till now. One was I did with patients, like in the pediatrics department. So it was with patients. I had to go there and ask the patients every day. And my other study was with the undergraduate students of my batch only. So this is what the study subjects are, like how we select a study subject. Like your guide will help you, but like you have to know this terminologies before.
And that's why you read 4 books. I got it.
No, this is not going to come, okay? So this is what actually the research methodology is, like how you actually start upon it. Like it's not like you started, you do it and you end up with a result. No, you have to start it. It is a process.
Okay, so till now I have found a guide, I have found a topic, I have found the subjects to study on.
Yeah.
What next?
Yeah, so the study subjects, they are again divided into the inclusion criteria and the exclusion criteria. By inclusion criteria, I mean specifically what should my patient have. Because when you're doing a research, you need a clinically and a well-diagnosed terminology, right?
Okay, I mean I understand things like you need to be perfect in the definition and you need to have something called exclusion inclusion criteria.
Yeah, that's what my inclusion criteria is about. Like I have to define what my patient is going to have and what he should have to be a part of my study. Okay, and exclusion criteria, it will include all those things I don't want my patient to have.
So basically it's like a litmus paper test, you in, you out.
Yeah, basically, okay.
Okay, so I have selected the subjects, then what?
Okay, so our topic is done, our topic selection is done, our inclusion exclusion criteria is done, our study setting is done. So what I mean by study setting is the place where I'm going to conduct this research. Like you cannot start with I'll be doing my research in this place and then in this hospital and then end up taking patients from another hospital. Okay, you have to take it from the place you have selected. So that is what is defining your study setting.
Okay. Okay, study setting is done. Then where does the actual research start? Like where do I do things on the?
Actually, I have done one research with the ICMR STS project, and the other one I have done it with a guide of mine.
So you can do researches other than ICMR as well?
Yeah, you can do it. There are many other institutions which also allow you to do internships.
Okay,
research institutes which help you do not ask me about it.
Okay, so there's ICMR, then you can do research, other things. All of them will get published, or is there a criteria?
Okay, you can get your things published after your results and your research is done.
Okay. Getting back, there was something called setting.
Study setting.
There was something called study setting. I have selected the study setting to be JMC NACU, let's say in my case. Then what next?
Okay, so now that we are done with the study setting, now we have to do is frame our research goals and objectives. What I am aiming from this research, what outcome should I be expecting from my research, right? So we start by framing our aim and objectives and hypothesis, like what outcomes we are expecting from it. By framing a hypothesis, I'll mean like there is this it is my research, right? So I will be considering my hypothesis, like what I think would be the outcome of this study. Like it may be positive, it may be negative, doesn't matter.
So
it is
basically,
your study, you have to frame a hypothesis.
Let's say if I just take this bread thing and I am going to do a research on how it tastes. So what will the hypothesis be?
Okay, so your hypothesis will be it tastes either good or it tastes either bad.
Good or bad?
The better the hypothesis, the better your research is. Then we are done with our aims and objectives and framing the hypothesis.
Okay, let's start from the start. I want to get a clear idea of it.
Timeline.
We started with the guide, then we started with topic, then
Yeah.
study subjects,
Yeah.
study setting,
Yeah.
study design.
Okay, yes. Study design was a cross-sectional study or
Right, cross-sectional
whatever
studies
I
that
wanted to
we
do.
will learn in park. What next?
Then we will be finding the sample size. Like by sample size here I mean is how much population I'm going to take into account. Like I cannot go and start my research doing like I cannot start doing my research with like no idea in my mind about what I want my study population to be, right? So there is this parent study which we take. By parent study I mean is one study which is going to be parent study. Okay, we explain the parent study.
We take
a parent study and from it the sample size is calculated. Your guide will be helping you with calculation of the sample size. So for my study, I had something like about 200 study subjects to be included. That was my sample size.
So sample size means how many people we will study on.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's say for the breath testing there was some parent study and then my guide helped me to find that the sample size is 1, that is me.
There was not going to be any study with one per study subject
unless
it is going to be a case study.
Okay,
like
so
you are the only case.
So case studies can be done on one subject, but cross-sectional studies need like 100, 150 subjects or something.
It can be done according to your guide's wish. Like some guides even think about doing it on a less study subjects, and some even want them to be on a larger aspect. Like how the bigger your study subjects would be, the more impact your study makes.
Right.
So after I'm done with my sample size, the next big thing is to frame a questionnaire. This questionnaire is what you're going to ask every study population. I mean every member of your study population. So framing of the study questionnaire begins with like basic demographic.
Name, age, gender, address, occupation, religion. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Right. So that's the basic data we go for. Then there comes the main data which we are interested in. Like there are various scales which we do. Like it all depends upon your research. Like my first research was on the pediatric population. I used the World Health Organization's quality of life scale. So this scale helps you assess what you actually want to find. Like
basically, you find the questionnaire online or from WHO.
No, you have to prepare yourself.
Okay, so you need to prepare a questionnaire from the scale that you are going to use, for which the guide is going to help you, right?
Yeah, I mean framing of the questionnaire, it is divided mostly into two parts. Like first part is about the demographic data, obviously the basic data which we need to assess. Then we have to put in the other things like what are we trying to assess. So we have to frame the questionnaire likewise. And it also includes, like if it includes the scales which we are using from the pre-made scales or pre-tested scales, like the WHO scales or whatever other scales which are present, right? If we are using the pre-tested scales, then we have to put them likewise and we have to cite them, like we have to give them a reference that we are using it. My study, it included a quality of life scale from the WHO, so I had to send them a mail and ask them for the scale.
So you sent a mail to WHO and they replied. You got a reply from WHO.
Yeah, actually I did.
Salute. Okay, so I'm done with the questionnaire. Then okay, let me guess. We go and ask the questions to the study sample.
Not yet. So we are not even done with like 50% of the research right now. We have just been done with the framing of the basic research what we are going to do.
So we haven't yet touched the patients.
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
So this is how the proposal begins. Then we have to do a pilot study. By pilot study, I mean that you have to test your questionnaire, right? If it is applicable on the patient, if it is going to find any results, or you have to find any flaws in your questionnaire, so you have to do a pilot study. You take your research questionnaire and you go and ask it to, like say 10-15 patients. You get to know how you have to improvise on the questionnaire then.
It's like a test for your test.
Yeah, like alpha test.
Alpha test.
After this, I started writing my proposal. What writing proposal is, in proposal it includes all the things you have done till now. starting from what your study is going to be about, your topic, your methodology, your how much population you're going to take into account, how many study subjects, everything you have to just put into words, and this is how a proposal is made.
So I can just sit in my room and put on all the data.
Yeah, you have to write. You have to actually write what you have done till now.
Okay,
That
so
is how proposals are. By proposal, you are sending them what you're actually going to do. You have to give a brief introduction to your topic, like why are you doing this research? Why is it going to be helpful? What impact it is going to make? Right, like you're going to tell them why is this thing needed.
Okay.
Why is your research needed to the society?
Okay, so let's say I make a proposal, and until now I am just in contact with the guide and myself, and I can do it all in my room, and it won't. I won't need to go to the hospital or spend any extra time other than whatever I'm doing on the laptop.
Yeah, right.
Mobile.
Yeah, actually.
So the proposal gets sent to ICMR, it gets accepted. Then what?
So you have to send it to the ICMR. Then if your proposal gets accepted, then comes the real chunk of doing a research. Okay, so now let's embark upon the journey of doing a research.
Okay. Finally it started.
So let's start about it. Now, before starting a research, you have to take the permission that you are going to do this study on the study subjects. You have to get a permission from the ethics department, like institutional ethics committee. So you have to send the proposal to the, now that you have done with the ICMR thing, you have to send this proposal to the institutional ethics committee. So they will accept it or reject it based on what impact it is going to be. Like if it is going to be harmful to the study subjects, then probably you will have to tell them more about how it is not going to be.
It's like in movies, like no animals were harmed during this scene.
Okay, fine. So my research was on the patients and it was nothing invasive, so it got selected pretty easily.
Okay.
Then I got my approval and I started my research. So how then the main thing was to go to every study subject and ask. Now my topic involved.
So wait. Now are we going to the hospital?
Yeah, exactly.
Finally.
We are going to the hospital.
Okay.
So in my study there were subjects. My study subjects were the children from the pediatrics outpatient department. I started going to the hospital. Now that my study topic required patients and their parents, I used to sit in the pediatrics OPD from like 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day for data collection.
3 hours per day for data collection. This is where the time consumption starts.
Yeah, actually. Like you can also select some topic which includes patients who are admitted. So you don't have to waste that much time in searching the patient. Like my topic wanted me to sit in the OPD and wait for the patient to come. This is how my research began, and then I started collecting the data, and it took me like almost 2 months to collect the data, but then the pandemic set in. So that's where my difficulties actually started. I mean, the things started getting more worse.
Okay, let's assume the normal world is going on, there is no world war, no pandemic and nothing else, and now I have finished collecting the data. Then what?
Then after collecting the data, you have to compile it. Like your researcher, your research guide will help you a lot. He will help you compile the data. He will help you put those questionnaires into numbers and then analyzing those numbers into results.
Okay, so
that's how we find the results and then building out conclusions for it.
Okay, result conclusion. Then what?
Then once I'm done with my results and my conclusions, I have to start writing my abstract. So this is the real research paper which is going to come. First we had to tell ICMR what we are actually going to do. That was my proposal. And then I started writing the abstract. It took me like a month to write a proposal, of which 15 days I had to give my all time to research. To writing the proposal. So it starts with writing a detailed introduction as to what you have done. Then the review of literature. By review of literature, I have to find all the researches similar to what I am doing. Like what is the same research which has been done in my area, in near to my area. Like my study setting was in Yavatmal, so I started searching if any research related to my topic was done in Yavatmal. Then I found out people who had done this research near in Maharashtra. Then after finding those, I took out researchers from all over India, pan-India, and then from the world, of course, to compare our results, obviously. But actually I didn't find many research papers related to my topics in Maharashtra, so that's what made my research a little bit unique and
That's why you
gave
got-
me more chances of selection.
Right. Okay, so and now we done with the research?
No, not yet. You have to write this paper. Yeah, then we did the review of literature. You have to write all these things. Like you have to compare what other researchers have found about this topic in their researches. Like what did they find? It was positive or a negative. They can be both types of results, right? Then we have to write the methodology, like how we did it. Like now it begins from the beginning, right? You took the approval from the institution ethics committee, then you started going to hospital, then how much months you invested into it. You have to write it all.
It's like a recap of how you spent your
Yeah,
time.
actually you have to write everything. You have to put into words every single thing you do.
Okay.
Then after doing all this methodology, I have to put in my results and my conclusions, and then I have to compare it with what other research studies have found. It may be positive, it may be negative. Like I can find like a positive correlate in my study, while if someone in Africa might have found it as a negative correlate.
Correct.
Right.
So
And
you
then
need to
after
compare-
completing this entire 40 to 50 pages of research, you have to 40 to 50 pages of abstract, you have to compile it, you have to reread it, you have to proofread it, and lot of work. And then but actually you have to enjoy the process, more importantly. So after doing this, you have to send it to ICMR for getting selected and getting your stipend and certificate.
Okay, so that's how you do a research.
Yeah, actually.
Just hearing about it is like,
Yeah, it seems like a big chunk. It is actually a big chunk, but it doesn't seem like a big chunk if you are enjoying it. Like there will be times when you will be aghast, like, oh, I need to stop it, I have to give it up, something like that. But there is some kick which keeps you moving.
right. So and now I am understanding the importance of guide. Like if you have a good guide, it will be a streamlined process.
Yeah, actually. But if I had been doing it by myself, I wouldn't have completed it. Like I wouldn't have even started because I don't know anything about it.
Let's say.
So this is what actually involves the research methodology.
First of all, I want to ask, how much time? I mean, now that you are well versed with it, how much time will a well versed person take in research?
Okay, so my first research was with ICMR, and it is a duration of an year. Okay.
So so my first year was of 1 year.
Yeah, the first research it takes minimum 1 year. Okay, I'll say minimum 1 year, and then my second research, which I did in the lockdown, everyone was indoors and I had nothing to do, and I am quite of that interested in research, so I wanted to do something more. So I did another research in the lockdown of the second lockdown of COVID-19, and then I completed my second research in like 3 months because I was well versed with the process.
So first research takes about 1 year, second research takes 3 months, and I'll assume you take half an hour of each day for it.
Yeah, like half an hour to 1 hour, depends on you exactly. Like when I did it in 3 months, it took me like very less time as compared to what I was doing in my first time, because
Right,
for
the
the
more-
first time when I was writing my introduction for the proposal, it was so difficult that I sat like almost 4 to 5 hours for writing my introduction about my topic, and I could just write 3 lines. Like 4 to 5 hours for 3 lines. That's how it begins.
So doing a research is a skill that you acquire with time.
Yeah, actually, I would really agree with it. I would agree with it.
So we are done. Now let me seriously ask you, what many problems did you face in this whole chunk?
Okay, so basically, I had applied to the STS 2020 program. So my proposal I started in 2020. Then set in the pandemic in 2021, and that's where my major problem started. Like I had started my data collection before the pandemic, and now the pandemic had commenced. The colleges were closed, and we all had to go home. Hostels were closed. We had to leave. The major problem here was how was I going to collect so much data? I had to take from like 220 patients was my study sample. So it was like I was panicking a lot. Then I spoke to my guide about it, and then then there came the JRs and SRs who helped me a lot in this process. So it all started being like I had to call them every day and ask them how many patients of my topic came to the OPD. They helped me so much. I would like to thank them so much. They used to give me they used to just take the demographic data from them, like their name and their contact numbers. I collected all the data from them, and then when the pandemic was like our second lockdown was over, we went back to our colleges. We had our offline exams as well. So before my exams, I took those numbers. I called each and every patient back again to the hospital, and I asked them the questions. So it was really difficult for me. Like the pandemic actually had an effect on it, and
so if you face a problem, just go to the seniors and ask for help.
yeah, actually they are the ones who can help you a lot. Like my guide told me to take help from the JRs and SRs, and they actually helped me a lot.
Okay.
JRs, junior residents and the senior residents.
So much data from like in an hour of talking with you, my brain has gotten so much data and it's still processing it.
But it wasn't even over. Like I had a study sample of 220, and I could manage till the end of my. Actually, what is expected from the STS program is that you have to complete your data collection in like 2 months. Now the pandemic had set in. They even had to shift their timelines. They had to give us more time because the colleges were closed. So COVID had made lesser patients come to the hospitals, right? And
right.
in a setting like ours, we belong to government colleges. It had started becoming more of like COVID patients,
right.
more of COVID patients. So the patients which I wanted were becoming less and less. So basically I couldn't complete my target, and I had to move it from like 222 I came to 126. That's only that amount of patients I could do.
Okay, so if the sample size isn't adequate, the research fails or something?
Yeah, I was really scared about it, but hopefully and thankfully ICMR put up a window where you could tell them what actually had changed in your research due to COVID. So I put up there that I couldn't collect much of data and my study sample had decreased. So I was like completely scared now that my study sample has decreased, that my research is not going to be selected, and I have so much stress to think no, it's not going to happen. But one fine day, message popped up that the results are out, and I found that it was selected.
Great. So even with less data, you can.
Yeah, I could do it. Like ICMR considered it.
Okay, and that's how you do the research. Now let me ask a genuine question. Do you spend all your free time in research, और क्या आपकी कुछ और भी hobbies हैं कि सिर्फ आप nerd ही बन के रह गई MBBS में आके?
Okay, fine. Many of my friends would call me a nerd, but I'm not. Yeah, everyone has to study in medical college. There is nothing to deny about it. But also, in my co-curricular things, I do painting. I do digital art. I love doing crafts, and I have a hobby of planting a bit of trees. Okay, so that's all. And it's not that I am being studying every day 24 hours into 7 for everyone who's watching out there.
That's a relief. That's a very big relief, especially for me who want to do a research in final year.
Yeah, actually, if you like a thing, it's not going to be something like a burden to you. But if you don't, it's actually a burden.
So
research is going to consume a hell lot of time. Research is going to consume a lot of time. So basically, be sure you are actually interested into it, and also you have the time to put.
Devote your hearts. I would like to know why you started a second research.
Okay, so now that the pandemic had set in, we were all home, and I basically had nothing to do other than my online lectures, and it was making me feel like, oh my god, what has the pandemic done? Like everyone was indoors and doing nothing other than handling the gadgets. So that's where my second research came into play. I asked another guide to help me out for this research, and then I personally thought that this pandemic is making some negative impact on us children. So my second study, it was done on my batchmates only. I mean the undergraduate students of MBBS of my batch. And what I found out that I myself was using a lot of phone. Not only phone, other gadgets as well. I was like online lectures. Apart from it, gaming, lot of gaming.
Wait. So the pandemic was going on. You cannot go outside, na? So how did you do a research on friends from your batch who are like scattered all over?
Yeah, exactly. I'll come back to that point. And what was happening more of it was we were having a hampered routine. So I noticed it from myself that I am not sleeping properly, I am not doing any exercise, I am just being lazy, being in bed all day and just surrounded by gadgets. Where I wanted to find out if this increased use of gadget is hampering my sleep. So I started doing a research on it on my batchmates, and now that I couldn't go out and I couldn't meet anyone, or nor could I personally go and ask them the questionnaire, like the process is same. You have to again start it from the basic. I had my topic in my mind. I asked my guide to modify it to what the present needs were, and then we framed the topic and made the aims and objectives. And then the main thing was asking the questionnaire. So I had done my questionnaire, I had framed the questionnaire, but now how to ask it? I couldn't call everyone personally and do it, right? So this is where technology comes into play, and I started doing it through Google Forms. I created a Google form and put my research questionnaire into it, and I sent the research questionnaire to everyone personally. Now the main thing, I told you that you cannot start doing a research before you have approval from the institutional ethics committee. So getting an approval was a big thing, because you are stuck up at home and you have to give them a proposal, like I have to do this research. I wanted to do this research. So I that's where my guide actually helped me a lot, Dr. Deshpande. I gave her the proposal, and she herself took the pains to take the approval from the committee. After I had the approval from them, I sent the link to the Google form to every person, to every batchmate of mine, and then did every process again, like starting from data collection and then compilation of results and frame.
So everything again.
Yeah, the cycle continues.
Right.
Then writing the paper and publishing it. So you could find my research online.
So are you going to do one more research after all of this?
Okay, so that's a tedious process, but actually it is really fun for me. So I think personally that I want to do more of it.
Okay.